directly from the plane to the first, what's the word? El primer piso del edificio, no? And that's it, without going on to the other floors. Uh, I think that will make it a lot much more commercial and therefore more usable by people.
Yep. And I just went live on our YouTube as well. So giving you
Oh,
guys a little bit of value, giving everybody value. To all of our subscribers, we're recording this on our page. Uh, we're on the subscriber page, $4.99 a month. You're getting access to all this information that we're doing daily, and we're helping you as much as we can. And right now, we just went through a lives technique, intervention technique on your vital life force, your spiritual energy, and teaching you how to align yourself. And right now, we're discussing with Dr. Ricardo. Ricardo works with us. We work together on origins of consciousness and developing consciousness and helping people go beyond who they are. And we're giving you guys value now on YouTube, a couple of minutes. And we're talking about these techniques. And later on, we're going to do maybe a broadcast on YouTube, just directly onto YouTube, and just talk about how we are taking these concepts and this information and taking it beyond to an actual practical usage and helping people unlock their blockages in their field, unlocking the programs of their field of consciousness, unlocking the memory of emotions, emotional impacts that are literally holding you back today. Where you're at today is literally the production of something that has come before, the way you were thinking. And you may say, I didn't create that. Well, you're the only problem you will ever have, and you're the only solution. So whether you're consciously aware that you created it or you're not, the memory that you've been moving into, even the memory in your DNA that you may have no clue about, what's attracting the people, the places, the plots, and the circumstances around you. I know people may say, well, that's not right. And I don't like what I have. Well, neither did I. So then I had to learn how to change it. And that's what we're teaching. I didn't like what I moved into. I no longer wanted to live the way I was living. I didn't like the results. I didn't want the results. I didn't like the district. I did not like the area. I did not like my results. I didn't like the money. I didn't like the experimental life, the food I was eating, the place I was having to live in. I didn't like any of it. But I had to learn. I had to unlearn. And then I had to relearn. I had to learn. That's what happens when we move in. But then I had to unlearn. And then I had to relearn. And this process is what we're teaching. I want to give probably about 5-10 minutes. And I'm going to play this a couple of seconds. And then we're going to move into the psychology about it. And what does it mean for us today? How can we use this information for today and apply what we're listening to?
I'm always working on a goal.
Now, let me see if I can get this to. That's not where I want it.
you guys listen to this, Bob Proctor is going to say, with the eyesight of today's generation, with the technology that is behind our ears right now, which was not existent in Bob Proctor's age, huh? And generation. So listen to it with the context from which you're
And I've
listening
always
today.
got the goal on a card.
I need to be able to get my iPad to switch to speaker.
Here in my pocket.
Autumn, can you help me over here for a minute? Maybe you see something I don't. Come on this side.
What are you trying to do?
I need to get this to play, and it is not playing on speaker.
Oh, I can hear very clearly.
Yeah, you can hear, but I need the audience on Facebook to be able to hear.
Oh goodness.
Give me 1 second here. Bluetooth, let me turn that off. Maybe that's what's happening.
Now,
says it's already clear.
I am very
Yeah, but it's
focused
not
on what
saying
I
that,
do.
though.
I really am. It doesn't matter what problems are going on around me. I will stay focused.
Well, I'm going to go into it, and they're hearing it on Zoom. It really doesn't matter what problems you have.
Over the past
Most of your problems
35 years, I've had a lot of
are
problems.
something you've created consciously or
kinds of them.
unconsciously. You've developed them.
Gina
You developed
Hayden's
the
worked
habit,
with me
you
now
developed
for
the
35
techniques,
years.
you developed the behavior.
This July,
And if you really want to go beyond them, you're going to have to
and
go beyond yourself.
she would. I know she would vote
You
for
cannot
that.
change reality without
She's
changing yourself.
watched where there's bombs falling all around me, but I didn't lose my focus. I kept going in the same direction. I did not lose sight of the goal. Was it disturbing? Of course it was disturbing. Was I pissed off sometimes? Yes, really. But I never lost sight of the focus. Now, I have been treated very badly by some people.
Bob goes into
On a,
talking about, normally we're working with people that are really tuned up. The video I had running was Bob discussing about working with individuals that are at high caliber, doing big things. And he's talking about letting go. And the reason he's talking about letting go is because you're trying to move forward. You're working towards a goal, your vision. You've already acquired maybe big things, but you really want to take it up a notch. You got to forgive and let go. And he's talking about being treated very badly. And he talks about 30 years, 35 years of working towards his goals. And he said, you're going to run into problems all the time. And you will always find problems, but never get emotionally involved with the problem and let go of problems. If there's an issue, imagine, look beyond it, take the steps you need to take to create something different. If something happens and you're treated badly, don't hold on to it. Let it go. Because what you hold on, you attract. You're attracting a frequency, you're attracting people, you're attracting plots, circumstances, conditions, all around you all the time. But we're attracting what's most closest to our field. The energy in the field, the information in your field is what you're resonating from. So all the information closest to you is what you keep attracting. So if there's negativity in your heart, there's never negativity in your state of being, you're literally setting yourself up to attract those people, places, plots, circumstances, conditions. And you're going to notice that you keep finding the same people, same plots, same conditions, same circumstances, because you're literally vibrating on that frequency. Frequency is memory, emotion. You don't change. If you don't change, you cannot release the memory and the emotions. The new set of people, places, plots, conditions, circumstances are going to reenact to move you back into the same energy, to make you aware of the same vibration, to make you aware of the same negativity that you've been feeling about somebody else. It'll be a different face. It'll be a different scenario. It'll be a different model in your life. But you're just going to cause you to re-feel the same feeling, emotion, state of being. And that's what's keeping you locked in. You're just not aware. So reality is causing you to repeat the lessons over and over again until you unlearn the feeling that you have, until you let go, reprogram what's in your field. You don't change what's in your field, you're a walking bubble of things you don't want, literally. The TM course that we're teaching, Transcendental Meditation, is allow you to have access to begin to de-stress what's happened through your day of things you haven't unlearned. Remember, you will repeat the lessons until you learn. You learn to unprogram them. You learn to unwind them. You learn to let them go. You will repeat the lessons. I've watched people repeat the lessons their whole life, and they didn't know that they were the problem. They live in the same place. They live in the same home. They live in the same lifestyle. They live with the same programs. They live with the same beliefs. They live with the same anger. They live with the same sadness. They live with the same grief. They live with the same memories. That is the programs. That is the information in their field. And what you resist letting go from your field, you keep attracting into your life. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, put them on here. Subscribers, you got the opportunity to talk about this, to ask questions, to get an introduction into the TM that we're teaching as well, so that you can learn this process. Ricardo, what can you give us? And for the subscribers, 5 minutes, and I'm going to need to close the subscriber page. What could you give us to help them out? And then we're going to continue on the Zoom.
Okay. Look at the word that Abraham uses a lot, the concept. Concept, look at that. The word represents a concept underneath the word, okay? You're not aware of it usually, but that's a fact. Any word represents a concept, and any concept represents a mechanism. And all three exist at the same time. So there's a word that Abraham uses a lot, is release, release. Now, I want to stop there, okay? I want to stop in the word release and get underneath it, behind it, underneath it, okay? Underneath the word release. Release has two
Give me 1
meanings.
second right there.
Yeah.
What he's saying is, because the majority of people don't understand energy. You've got to understand the movement, and that's what he's fixing to teach you. There's a movement behind words. There's abstraction. There's a formula behind the word, and that's what he's going into. Go ahead.
Yeah, beautiful. So now, see, Abraham always goes to the left. I always go to the right. To the left means goes into the energy way of understanding what I'm saying, and definitely basic and very important. Okay, that's this department. Okay, my department is on the right, if I can, say it that way, and it is this. There's a structure underneath the word, any word. There's a structure, literally. It didn't come out just from anywhere. No. Any word was produced by a connection, a dialogue between the mind and the brain. Mind is one thing, a brain is a completely different phenomenon. Two different monsters, mind and brain, but they could continually interact. So any word was produced out of the interaction between mind and brain, okay? That's what makes it so complex and so deep. So going back to the thing. So behind the word release, okay, there are two distinctions that must be made if you really want to get the juice out of the word release. Two distinctions. If you don't make those distinctions, then those two things that are inside the word release get all mixed up. And when they all get mixed up, you can't use those distinctions because you never made them. Okay, and that is called confusion. They're fused, so you are confused. Okay, so now if you stop and then look underneath the hood of the word release, you find the following distinction. Release implies, on the one hand, let go. It can show up in many ways, like, for example, forgive, example, forget, or you are glued to something. You are glued to some information. You are glued to something that gives you pleasure. You're glued to it, or you're glued to something that gives you pain, whatever. You're glued to it. Okay? So let go is unglue yourself. That is a very difficult thing, but it is not impossible. Okay? So that's one aspect of release. Let go. It is a subjective aspect of release because it is you who has to do it. That's what makes you a problem. That's what makes you a solution. You see? So that's the subjective aspect of release. Let it go. And there's a whole science of that, okay? A whole science which implies energy and implies information structure. Okay, that's where Abraham and I complement each other. But the other aspect, the other connotation, the other meaning, the other side of the distinction underneath the hood of the word release is expulsion, expel. You release and something gets expelled, it's expelled, it gets expunged. And that is an objective thing. See, let go is a subjective thing. You got to do that. But as a consequence of letting go, the other aspect of release comes into the picture. And the other aspect of release is something gets expelled, expunged, expulsed, emitted. It was being held back. Now it is emitted, expelled, exposed, expunged. You see what I'm saying? And what is that? Okay, the body, the system, not you, the system, which may be the body or the brain or even your mind, okay, does something very important. it starts getting rid of toxic structure. It starts getting rid of toxic structure. You see, that is the other aspect of release, that something is being getting rid of. And that's the beauty of TM. And the TM, that's exactly what happens to you. But it happens to you as a consequence of the technique. That's the beauty and the force behind TM. Okay, but in daily life, without going into TM, if you don't do TM yet, okay. But in daily life, this distinction is very important for you to make, because then if you understand, okay, I have this problem, let me see how much of it is not me not letting go. Okay, but then immediately you say, yeah, but the more I let go, the more I learn to let go, I let go, let go, let go, because it's going to repeat itself. The situation where you have to release letting go is going to repeat itself because you're very intensely adhered. The glue is very strong. You see what
Let's
I'm
stop right
saying?
there.
Yep.
Let's stop right here. We're doing this unconsciously because what we resist persists. Sometimes we don't want to look at the issue, but we want to be angry about the issue. When you're angry about the issue, you're literally holding on to it. You're captivated by it. It's captivated by you. Then it means
Beautiful.
you're one with it.
Beautiful.
So that means you're not letting it go. If you're angry, sad, whatever
Scared.
emotion is enhanced, you're actually holding on to it stronger. Let go means to release, no longer be with. So that movement that he's talking about, expel, let go, release, is a movement that you have to do internally with the feeling and the image that you have. And if you don't do that, it stays with you and it stays in your field. And you repeat the lesson again.
You
So
see,
everyone,
this saying that Bob has coined, that one of the problems, and you're the problem, you're the solution, and the only one, the only problem you have, and the solution, you are the only solution you'll have, is exactly, what's the word? Is congealing. Is putting together everything right now. I've dissected. You see, everything, all of that is put into that declaration. So when I heard it for the first time, I said, gee, this is beautiful. But people have to understand that underneath the hood of that declaration is all of this and much more I haven't said yet.
we're at our time. As far as on the subscribers, thank you guys. We're going to continue on our class. But again, learn the movement, learn the words, learn the movement behind the words, and learn to move the emotion and the feeling behind words so that you understand them. And you will never understand anything until you can do what we're asking you to do. One thing is to hear about it and to think about it, but it doesn't mean you actually processed it. Processing means you go through the movement of it so you can get understanding, and you'll never understand a thing until you can feel it, reason with it, move it, and actually express it in a behavior. Thank you guys, and everybody have a wonderful day. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Okay. What has just happened? What did you do?
I
Explain.
closed the subscribers page.
Oh, so that means it went public like that, beyond this group.
Yeah, for everybody that's subscribed on the platform.
Oh,
And
oh,
right now we're still on YouTube. We're still live on YouTube. So
okay.
everybody's getting a little bit more value for the rest of this session. And then for the next couple of days, we're going to start. We'll have a different time limit for what we're doing. So let's
okay.
go ahead and continue to wrap up.
Yeah.
You got the floor.
So you see, so Abraham now pointed to another word, another word associated with release, another word, and he talked about resistance. Man, that's a loaded word. That's really a beautiful concept and amazing mechanisms underneath the concept of the word resistance. Okay, so yeah, so you see, the moment you want to look at something that appears an issue, which means you're glued to something because an emotion has come up, a feeling has come up, and you've been affected in one way or the other. Okay, and emotions will be the mirror, the reflection of something is affecting you, and you're not aware. It's unconscious. It is like it's spontaneous, like impulsive. You're not aware. You always use it, and you never question it. Okay, so the word resistance comes up within that context because something in you resists looking at it. Mind the word, resists looking at it. And the word resist, okay, comes from the Latin re plus sisto, which means to bounce back. So when there's resistance, you are bouncing back to where? To yourself again, and you remain the same. That's very dangerous. You see, that's very dangerous, and it will pursue you all your life till you get to the point where you defend it and you say, no, 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 nobody is going to change me. That's the way I am. Okay, the F word, literally, literally. You are yourself digging your own grave. Hmm? So stop doing that. But you want to have to want to stop that. For that means change the way you live. So let's go back to resistance, okay? So what does it imply now? Let's look at the underneath the hood of the word resistance. Okay, we looked at that underneath the hood of the word release. We saw that, right? Distinctions. Now let's look at the underneath the hood. Look at the word resistance. The word resistance is present in another word that takes it into account. Resistance. Okay, it is work. The concept of work. And now we can stop and look under the hood of the word work as well, which is profoundly related to resistance. How is it? Well, look at the way work is defined in physics. In classical physics, work has a very beautiful and completely applicable to us definition. What is the definition of work? W-O-R-K, work, trabajo in Spanish. What is work? In Spanish is avanzar una distancia venciendo una resistencia. In English is advance a distance going beyond a resistance. Advance a distance going through or beyond a resistance. Avanzar una distancia venciendo una resistencia. I guess we could say literally, advance a distance defeating a resistance. I suppose you could say that. You see what I'm saying? We say if you don't defeat or you can go through the resistance, you will not advance a distance. So if you have a purpose, which means you have to cover a distance to get there, right? You'll find resistance. So you have to work through it. You see? But if you don't learn to do the release thing, if you don't learn to let go, if you don't allow for things to be expunged and expelled from you, the toxic structures, you cannot go through the distance because you are resisting the resistance. That's beautiful, isn't it? It's just with words. I'm doing exactly the same thing with my work as I speak to you, the IC's model. I'm doing exactly the same thing as the techniques these people have used to create artificial intelligence. Exactly the same thing. And you see, that's the problem. You see, people find artificial intelligence as an existential threat. Yeah, it can be, but only for those people who do not adhere to Bob Proctor's admonition. You are the only problem you'll ever have, and you are only the only solution. Because artificial intelligence is an existential threat if you do not do what Bob Proctor is suggesting you should do. Face the fact that you are the only person responsible for taking care of yourself. Nobody is. And you are filled with all kinds of mechanisms that think otherwise. Okay? Like, for example, blame and guilt and shame. There's a bunch of mechanisms that think otherwise, that give the authority to somebody else. And of course, away from you. Got it? Yeah? So you have to learn to live according to the natural laws that were always there, man. But they were replaced by these fake notes, these fake quote unquote laws. Okay? The laws of self-perpetuation, they're called. The laws of self-perpetuation. They are absolutely false when you look at it from the point of view of the whole potential of humanity. The laws of self-perpetuation are absolutely false, all of them. So TM is a beautiful advocate of throwing out all the toxic structures. And it does it. It doesn't do it intellectually. It happens to you, as everybody that does TM knows. That's the ticket you have to pay in order to go for the mantra to lead you all the way down to the very field of your own abundance. The abundance from where you have been created inside your mind. Anything else, buddy?
That's it. We're gonna need to wrap it up because we're gonna need to move into. I need to move. I've got to be on the road today, but giving you guys as much value as we can. We're gonna move into our actual TM, and for you guys that are live, thank you guys. If you have any questions, put your questions on here. Send us a message. You want to subscribe? I'm also going to put the link on there to subscribe to our subscription page. $4.99 a month. You're going to get value, daily value on the subscriber page, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, as well as Thursday nights. That's going to be in Spanish. On Spanish, we're doing the classes at 7:30 to 8:30, and the TM is from 8:30 to 9. And a lot of value for you guys, subscribers. You're getting your daily dosage of information, of techniques, of better understanding, and how to apply what you're learning, and really change the way you live. Subscribe, get started. Get started on you. Nobody can change you. Thank you guys, and everybody have a wonderful day.
Abraham, before you go, is it going to be a Spanish thing now afterwards or not?
Yeah, just like always. Thank you
Okay.
guys. I'm closing the YouTube. 1 second.
Do we do TM? TM? No.